Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we are in the city of Denver, and that is because we're here to check out Denver's biggest and best liquor store. That is Argonaut Wine and Spirits. We're going to go in, we're going to try to do the $300 whiskey challenge, and we're going to see what we can find. And then at the end, we're going to speak to the owner, Josh, and ask him how can we get allocated whiskey from that store. Run the video.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Alright then, folks, as you can see, we are inside the store. So some of you may be asking the question, what is the $300 whiskey challenge? So that's essentially Reddit's you only need 5 bourbons, but with a $300 budget. A daily sipper, a cocktail mixer, a Friday night pour, something special, and then something to impress your guests. So as you can see, most of the whiskey is down in this aisle and on the back end as well. We also have some Scotch and some Irish over here. A sales section is down below over here, and then also some other stuff scattered over here and multiple different places throughout the store that we'll see today. So let's go ahead, let's see what they have on the shelves and see if we can do this challenge with a $300 budget. Okay folks, so I am looking for a daily sipper. I want something that's not very expensive, something that tastes great, and just something I can pick up any day of the week. So there's a couple of different options that I'm looking at here. So first off, Old Trusty Buffalo Trace, 26 bucks. That's a great price for Buffalo Trace. I know a lot of people in the US cannot find Buffalo Trace. Fortunately, we're very lucky that Argonauts always carry it for $26, because as you can see, they have a bit of a bunch of it here. They also have Wild Turkey 101. This is something that we've used on a similar video to this before, but we're not going to use that today because Jim Beam came out with this absolute banger, and that is Jim Beam Black 7 years. So you get that nice age, 7-year age statement. This one has plenty of wood. You can see by some of the tasting notes there, mellow, smooth, golden, caramel, rich oak, vanilla, and this is really tasty. What I really like about this is it does have plenty of that oak backbone, and for 24 bucks, that's a great price, because in a lot of other different places, these are $30 plus. So I think we're off to a great start with a daily sipper for only $24. Next up, we need a cheap and inexpensive mixer. So for this, I want something maybe in like a big tall size for not more than like 25 bucks. It needs to have a little bit of proof, something that can stand up in a cocktail, but then something that's very, very affordable, because we don't want to blow our budget too much. As you can see, we could use the Wild Turkey 101, but I think we can do a little better as I kind of come around this other side. We have maybe a couple of different options here. A little bit expensive, maybe some of the Woodfords for a cheap and inexpensive mixer. That's a good price for them. And then we also have a bunch of other stuff in this aisle. As you can see, everything's quite densely packed in here. They have such a great selection of whiskey, I'll give them that. I'm hoping to maybe find Early Times bottled in bond, but it doesn't look like they have that in stock, which is super unfortunate, because I think that would be a really good inexpensive mixer. Old Granddad 114 there, but again, I think that's a little pricey for what we're looking for, just for the cheap and inexpensive mixer. So if I come down here, I see this guy. Old Forester 100 representing the 100 proof or 50% ABV, and for $23. If you're gonna get the big size, you're gonna get a better deal, and that's 41 bucks. I could go with the 86, but that's only $1 less, so I'm gonna go for the Old Forester 100, $22.99. A cheap, inexpensive mixer, but a very, very tasty. It has 50% ABV, it has 100 proof. So when you put it into a cocktail, you know exactly what you're gonna get. There's a couple of other options there. It would be nice if they had the Early Times bottled in bond. However, this is every bit as good, and I'm very happy that we were able to pick that up. Next up, we have a Friday night pour. So when I think of a Friday night pour, I think of something that needs to be a little above your daily drinker, something that you don't want to be using up all the time, but maybe a bottle you can drink through the year. You've had a hard week and you just want to come home and drink something really nice. Interesting bottle here, the Cigar cut by Old Elk. That's the batch 2, very, very tasty. The new Baker 7 as well, that's the high rye mash bill. And this isn't something we're going to get, but really noticing this is the allocated Juggernaut. This is the Tandai finish Boss Hog, $600. When I said we talked a little bit about this in whiskey and bourbons to look out for, I said that we'll end up seeing this, and I did, and that's a really great price because I think a lot of people would charge like even like $700-800 for that. If I come around here, they have some really awesome, interesting single barrels. Look, $80 for a smoke wagon, 6 year. You just never see that for that price. A 10-year Elijah Craig. Let's take a closer look at this. This is 120 proof, 60% ABV for $70. Great price. I've talked a little bit about this awesome pick here. Argonauts do really well with their makers picks in the San Francisco Spirit Awards. They've won gold in some of the last few picks that they've done. And this has caught my eye here. This Wild Turkey single barrel private select rye. I didn't even know they did these in rye. It must be a pretty new thing because this is the first time of me seeing it. I came back from Kentucky with a bourbon one of these, but I've never seen that in the rye. A couple of really great options here that we might come back to, but not something that I think for us is a Friday night pour, so we'll keep looking on here. So I think we found what we are looking for a Friday night pour. I'm thinking around $50 should be a good amount of money for a Friday night pour. I could have gone Old Forester again in 1920 or 10, two very good bottles. They don't have the Old Forester 1897, which has become one of my favorites lately. Though I think you folks would be okay if I went double Old Forester. However, we landed on this. This is the Bardstown Origin Series bottled in bond. So I didn't know too much about this bottle, but you awesome folks down in the comment section told me that this is a phenomenal bottle. So I bought one recently and I'm not disappointed. Bottled in bond is where we are going to do this Friday night pour for $50. That brings us up close to the $100 mark with 2 bottles left. And I also saw this. Bardstown Discovery Series 12. This is the bottle that I'm looking for. And look at that price, $140. That's a great price for this. And yes, I'm going to yonk this. This doesn't have anything to do with today's video. Very happy that I was able to find that. And as you maybe or maybe not aware, this is the first all Kentucky blend since I think it was Discovery Series 4. I could have gone with a couple of other bottles for a Friday night pour, but we have 2 left. There's a bottle to impress our guests and something very special. Let's see what we can find. So with 2 bottles left, we have just over a $200 limit. We have left ourselves a lot of money to find some great bottles here. And as you can see, we have stumbled into the single barrel selection area. Argonaut has this Stranahan's bottle, which is very, very, very popular here in Colorado. Probably Colorado's most famous distillery. Not what we're looking for today. Another Colorado distillery here. More of those smoke wagons and that Cooper and cask. 7 years, 61.3% ABV for $50. We could have chose that for Friday night pour. I was very close to choosing that. We have a couple of other ones as well here. This Pila single barrel pick. That's a great price. You don't normally see these single barrel picks that much. And again, some of those 10 years. And then a Knob Creek we have here. This is 10 years and 2 months old. $55, absolute bargain. I see we have Russells here as well. This is $80. Are they the same ones? Yes, they are the same ones. So they've had some Camp Nelson Russells picks in the past. This one is Warehouse TY-F, floor 4, 8 years old for $80. That's something that can impress our guests. However, I have seen something that would definitely impress our guests. That is not this, that is not that, it is this. It is this High West Cask Collection pick. Why is this so special and unique? Well, let me tell you. So this is 50% ABV or 100 proof, selected by Argonaut Wine Liquor, and a 7-month finish of Petite Syrah barrels. Or if I'm not pronouncing that correct, Syrah barrels, I believe it is. So why is this bottle so special? So the last time that they did Petite Syrah barrels is in Yippee-Ki-Yay. So Yippee-Ki-Yay is a bottle that High West has discontinued for a very long time. So you don't really see these Petite Syrah barrels anymore. So this could basically be just a Yippee-Ki-Yay bottle, just rebranded because they discontinued that line. So for $65, I think this is a bottle that has a great story because it's very similar to Yippee-Ki-Yay. It's a single barrel for Argonaut Wine and Liquor, and has a blend of straight whiskeys finished in that very unique finish. 50% ABV or 100 proof, $65. And then that leaves us with $135 after this of finding something very, very special. So in Argonaut, they have a lot of really allocated and high-end stuff in these kind of like corner glass cases here. You can see that they have this tequila glass case, and it looks like they had a couple of the Corazon finishes, the George T. Stagg and the William Weller. It looks like they still have some of the French oak one. This is the newest one that they did left. Also, if we come over here, some more harder to find tequilas, and then we land here. We have the Willet Purple Tops. Do you remember there was a time where these couldn't stay on shelves, highly allocated? Well, $290, which is below $300, what people like to charge. So that's a great bottle there. We have the new release from Wyoming Whiskey, well over a price range, but it's nice to see that bottle. And then a couple other ones. The single malt Foggy Bill, the new release from Redwood. And then a couple of really high-end stuff from Whistle Pig. And then the Mizinara Founders Collection from Rabbit Hole. And I'm seeing there's a lot of really special bottles here, but I want something that goes above that. What else can I find? I guess I could choose the Baker 7, the High Rye. Is that special? It's a great bottle. I don't think it quite ticks the box of what we're looking for. Let's see if there's anything else down here. We have Henry McKenna 10. That's a great bottle. I did a recent video that I won't be buying any of these anymore because the price is a little bit too high, and normally 3 out of 10 are really good. So you can find them and they're for around about that price, and they're really special, but you're taking a little bit of a gamble because 3 out of 10, that's up to you if that's something that you want to take that risk on. The Ben Holiday bottled in Bourbon, that's good, but is it special? Is it special? So I've been looking around here. We've seen some of these other Redwood Empires as well, which are all very great bottles of whiskey. But I can't find something that's $130, $140 that's really, really special. We could go for the Smoke Wagon pick here, but then I thought to myself, and I didn't think I'd have enough money in the budget for this whiskey. We already have that something special. That is Discovery 12. I would say that's a very special bottle. And we came over here, we put it in the cart, and I totally forgot about it. That is this guy. Bardstown Discovery Series 12. This is the bottle that we're gonna have for a very special occasion. If you look at the mash bill there, 48% Kentucky, 29% Kentucky, 50% Kentucky, and then 8% Bardstown only Kentucky. The first Kentucky only mash bill on these discoveries since batch 4. So let's kind of take note and see all the bottles that we have so far, because I think we just did this challenge. All right then folks, and we are finished with these bottles. As you can see, what a great lineup and selection. For an everyday sipper, we chose Jim Beam Black aged 7 years. Very happy they were able to get that for such a great price. 45% ABV or 90 proof, a great everyday sipper. A cheap and inexpensive mixer, we went a little bougie. We went Old Forester 100, 50% ABV or 100 proof, and we paid $23, $24 for that, so very happy with that mixer. Next up, for a Friday night poll, we chose Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series. This is their bottled in bond, 50% ABV or 100 proof. If you haven't tried that bottle, you need to get one. It's going to set you back around $50, but worth every penny. Something to impress your guests, we ended up with High West Cask Collection. This is basically a Yippee-Ki-Yay in a different bottle and a different brand. And the Petite Syrah barrel finish for 7 months, selected by Argonaut Wine and Spirits. Picked that up for about $65, very happy with that. And then lastly, a bottle for a very special occasion, and one that we didn't think we'd have the budget for, but we found all these bottles at such a great price, we were able to skip and splash out a little bit. Coming in at 57.6% alcohol or 115.2 proof, that is Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series 12, an all Kentucky blend, and has very, very great reviews. Before we go to speak to the owner and ask him a couple of questions and get his feedback on how we did on today's video with these 5 whiskeys, we asked the question, could we do the Reddit you only need 5 whiskey challenge for under $300? We were right on the money. We had such great bottles. Let's go and share. Let's go and ask Josh some questions and see his thoughts. I have a couple of questions for you today.
Sure.
As someone who's owned a liquor store for quite a while, and your family has owned this store for 50 plus years, you've seen a lot of things probably change. So what has the whiskey market kind of been like in the last few years, kind of seeing where it's come from, how it's boomed,
Yeah.
and where we're at right now with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot even in the 8 years I've been here. You know, when I started and whiskey started getting hot, and I was talking to my dad about it, who ran the store back in the, you know, late 90s, early 2000s. You know, he couldn't believe it. I mean, you know, at that point, Pappy sat on the shelf, you know, the 10 and 12, and then the 15, 20, all those would be just sitting in the case collecting dust. So obviously that would not be something you would see now.
No,
and
not at all.
and it's crazy. I mean, it's the level of enthusiasm for bourbon, American whiskey has just gone through the roof, which is an awesome thing for domestic producers and for us. I mean, it's fun. You know, we get to go out and meet some of the people running the distilleries, and you know, they get to show us what they're doing, kind of cool and innovative. Which there's a lot new and innovative going on in bourbon right now, which is, you know, driving some of that demand.
Yeah, I just came back from Bardstown Bourbon Company, and they're right at the kind of the pinnacle of kind of taking on new and different practices, like an open-faced rick house, and seeing how that impacts some of the flavor.
Yep.
And kind of off the back of that, seeing where the whiskey market has come, and just hearing a little thoughts about that. How come Argonaut, and we can kind of see the sign over there, one of the lowest liquor packaged stores in the US. How come you folks have decided to keep your prices low when maybe other stores around you haven't done the same thing? Or, like, I've traveled throughout many different states whiskey hunting, and people have put prices up, but in Argonauts I can come in here, get a bottle of whiskey that I don't know too much about, and I know I'm getting it for a good price. Is there any decision that you folks have made on that?
You know, that's just something we've done as a customer service element, I guess. You know, we do just about our standard markup on everything from, you know, Pappy and B-Tac all the way through, you know, some of the daily drinkers you picked up.
Yeah,
so,
some great bottles.
And, you know, that was just a decision by us to really take care of the people who were shopping, buying all the other things that help us get the allocations, right? So we try to do all our releases, you know, either around holidays or other events. So hopefully we get people in here doing their other shopping as well. But that, you know, it's in the whiskey market, it is all about how you can get that extra mileage out of those bottles, because you have to put a lot of work in and do a lot with the suppliers to get that kind of stuff. So for us, we try to, you know, use it to get people in the store to do their regular shopping, things like that, whereas other people just, you know, taking a little extra markup on the bottle.
Yeah, I totally get it. And we as the consumers maybe only see it from like one side. You know, we don't see the hundreds of bottles that you have to sell through, the thousands of bottles that you have to sell through to get some of this really awesome allocated whiskey there. You guys seem to do a really good job at kind of spreading the love. And I was here for Whiskey Drop not so long ago, and we have some videos built into this video that people will see. And I'm going to ask one more question. This is what we all want to hear. You know, you have some great bottles on the shelf. We saw that during the video. I managed to pick up some awesome bottles, but people kind of at times want to know, how can they get allocated whiskey from Argonaut?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I wish I had just a, you know, this
Magic
is here, come here, yep, this time you got it, right? The best way is to download our app. I send out a push notification 30 minutes before we do any kind of table drop, barrel release, anything like that. So that's how you know about those. You know, also we do the monthly lotteries, which, you know, can be anything from 100 bottles of a barrel, a full barrel, all the way to, you know, one bottle of like a B-Tag, Pappy type of deal. So it just depends on the month. So always come in, check on those. You get one entry, no purchase necessary, and then an additional entry per Argonaut barrel pick that you buy. So just fill out another entry form with the receipt. You're in for that, and you know, those are great ways. You know, and just watching things like Whiskey Wednesday, we'll, you know, release all the information about what we're doing or what we think we're doing on those as well. So really just staying plugged into kind of what we're doing, and there'll definitely be ways.
Awesome. And I've been quite fortunate that I've got quite lucky in some of your lotteries. I think the last time I had an Old Fitz 19, which is really good. And they also do like a Father's Day whiskey wheel, and you've done a Sazerac whiskey wheel in the past. And truth be told, I've done very well in those wheels. I think the last 2 Father's Day wheels, I've had a Pappy 12.
Oh, wow.
Both times.
That's amazing.
Both times. So, and your single barrels here, I'm always talking quite a lot about them on the channel, how good they are. My favorite one right now is the low sweet whiskey that you have. That's a phenomenal whiskey. You guys have done great with that. And even like some of the smoke wagons and stuff like this is stuff you can't find in like a lot of different stores and states. So you have really good bottles on your shelf right now.
Yeah, we have a ton of awesome picks around. Like you mentioned, a couple of the smoke wagon. We did a really cool blend with the Wine and Spirits Guild of America. So it was myself, some of the liquor buyers from stores around the country that did this blend with Copper and Cask. That's a fantastic pick. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. We've got Knob Creek, some Wild Turkey Rye.
Yeah.
But also, you mentioned the Whiskey Wheel.
Yes.
Keep an eye out. We are going to be doing a second one this year, around mid-December. We don't know the exact date yet, but keep an eye on our socials. Like I said, Whiskey Wednesday, all those types of things. We'll keep you updated.
Yeah, I think that's big news. You know,
that is big news. Yep.
You have a line outside the building, and maybe a round again, and then some. You know.
Yep.
It gives everybody an opportunity to come away with a really great bottle. So I appreciate you talking to me today, Josh.
Absolutely.
Keep picking awesome barrels. Keep doing your thing. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Patrick. Appreciate you.